Alright everyone, and welcome back to another video. And today what I have for everyone is my full review of the OnePlus Nord N100. Now I've been using this device for a good amount of time, and I feel like I've gathered all my thoughts and opinions on it, and that's what I'm going to share with everyone today in this full review. Okay, so hopefully by the end of this review, you guys and gals know, if this device is worth picking up. All right. So without further ado, let's dive straight in. Now, starting off here, the first thing I want to talk about with everyone is the overall build quality and design. Now, in terms of the overall build quality, we pretty much have a plastic built device here. Alright, so we got a plastic back, we have a plastic sides, okay? Everything on this bad boy is plastic, except for we do have a metal mid-frame. Actually, nah, based on the teardown, this is plastic as well. So everything on this device is plastic, okay? So in terms of the build quality, I have to say it's good. Now, during my time with the device, I did notice some creaking and some flexing, and when I don't have a case on the device, I can really hear it sometimes when I pick the device up, when I put the device down. So it's a very plasticky build. It's a very fingerprinty build as well. I did wipe it down before I started the video, and y'all can see just a few seconds in, it's already a fingerprinty mess. Alright, so a case and a tempered glass screen protector is a must for this one. But talking about the overall build quality, although it's plastic, okay, meaning the build quality is not going to be the best, that is going to make it a little bit more durable in terms of if you may happen to drop it, okay, and that does help with the overall weight of it. So the overall weight and feel in hand on this one is really good as well. But I do wish the build quality was better. So in my opinion, the overall build quality on this one is just good. Not great, not top notch, just good. Now, talking about the overall design of the device, we pretty much have a modern design device here. So we got our traditional multi-camera layout on the rear. We do have an always active capacitive fingerprint sensor on the back, and I gotta tell y'all, that fingerprint sensor is really fast, okay? And in terms of the display, we do have that punch hole display. So you can see we do have that punch hole front facing camera up in the corner. So pretty much this is a modern design. But they did keep some oldies but goodies here. So very happy to see that. And they did give you a stereo speaker setup. So in terms of the design, I have to say the design on this one is top notch. I like what OnePlus decided to do here in terms of the design. Alright, good stuff indeed. So on the whole, if we summarize both the build quality and design categories, I have to say it is just really good. Okay, now moving on, let's talk about this display. Alright, so up front, dead center here, we have a 1080p plus display. Okay, that's an IPS LCD 1080p plus display. Now this does have 90 hertz. For all you guys that like the high refresh rates, it does have 90 hertz, and it does have a screen density of 295 pixels per inch, if I'm not mistaken. 295, 296. For all you guys that like to know the technical specifications, there you have it. And in terms of the overall resolution, it is 720p by 1600. So it's a 720p plus display in the 20:9 aspect ratio. Right? So there's all the technical goodies for you guys and gals that like to know that. And in terms of the display, in all honesty, talking about day-to-day usage, the display on this one is great. Now, I do have to keep it 100 with y'all. I did run this display for the most part on 90 hertz. and I couldn't really see anything. I couldn't see any differences or anything like that. So I pretty much bumped it back down to 60 hertz. But in terms of the overall battery life, I tested it with 90 hertz, I tested it with 60 hertz, and it still performed the same. So whether you want to leave the 90 hertz on this one or whether you want to turn it off, you should have no battery life hits, okay? But for me, I couldn't really notice a difference in smoothness with the 60 hertz on versus the 90 hertz. So I just left it at 60 hertz. It's what I'm used to. So it is what it is. I can't notice the high refresh rates. That's why high refresh rate displays was never a big deal to me. But just had to leave my opinion on it in the display section because I know some of you guys and gals are going to ask about it. It's good. Did I notice the difference between 60 hertz? No. Okay. But all in all, talking about the display, this is a really, really good display, and I haven't had any issues. Now, I do have the brightness set to a particular brightness for the video, but outdoors, this is typically where I keep it indoors, but outdoors, I have to pretty much max it out, and it's barely visible in direct sunlight, but it is visible, so it does work with no issues outdoors in direct sunlight, but you will have to max out that display. Alright? But other than that, no issues with this display, no issues whatsoever. Okay? So the display on this one is top notch, and I feel like OnePlus did a great job here. Alright, let's keep it moving. Now, let's expand in a little bit more detail on the hardware and the software on this bad boy right here. Okay? So, hardware-wise, let's get all the technicals out the way up front. We have 4 gigs of RAM built in on this bad boy right here with 64 gigs of onboard storage with micro SD card expansion. So you can expand the overall storage, but it's just portable storage. So you can't make the micro SD card adaptable internal storage. Okay, so if you put a micro SD card in here, you can only use it to store your photos and your videos. You can't use it to store applications or anything like that unless you want to mess around with developer options and you want to force all the applications and things to the SD card. There is a setting in developer options that lets you do that. But out of the box, when you drop an SD card in, it's just going to be configured as portable storage. Alright, but it does have micro SD card expansion, so you can expand the storage. Other than that, on paper, this bad boy is rocking a 5,000 milliamp hour battery on paper. Now, in my testing and based on my verifications, the battery size on this one is 4890 milliamp hours. So that's 4,890 milliamp hours. So not quite 5,000, but spoiler alert, the battery life on this one is phenomenal. It more than rivals my Moto G Power. So top-notch battery life, top-notch indeed. Talking about the cameras here, we do have a triple camera setup on the rear. Okay, so one primary 13 megapixel camera and 2 secondary 2 megapixel cameras. Okay, one macro camera and one camera for depth information. But if I'm being completely honest, I'll expand on this a little bit later on. You can pretty much treat this device as though it has one camera, because these 2 other cameras, I feel as though they're not really doing much. Okay, so in terms of the output for the camera on the rear, it maxes out at 1080p, 30 FPS. That's it. No more, no less. Okay, no slow motion on this one with the front or the rear. That's it. Okay, now flipping over to the front, we do have an 8 megapixel front facing camera in the upper left in that punch hole. Okay, and y'all can see we do have face unlock as well as fingerprint unlock. Okay, we do have double tap to sleep as well as double tap to wake, and we do have an ambient display available on this as well. So you got various different ways that you can configure the device so you can fully customize it to your liking. Okay, but up front we have an 8 megapixel front facing punch hole camera. It also maxes out at 1080p 30 FPS. Okay, in terms of video recording, no slow motion on the front facing camera either. Alright, now along with that, we do have our 3.5 millimeter headphone jack And we do have a stereo speaker setup. So we got one bottom firing speaker and one front firing speaker up here in the speaker grill. Alright? So good stuff there. Good stuff indeed. And we do have 18-watt fast wired charging on here. There's no waterproofing and there's no wireless charging. Alright? Now, talking about the chipset on here, because I know some of you guys and gals like to know about the chipset. This is rocking the newer entry-level Snapdragon 460 octa-core chipset with the Adreno 610 GPU. So this is a budget or entry-level chipset on here. Okay? Now, I was kind of shocked by that because the mid-range newer chipsets are not that expensive. So they could have went with a Snapdragon 665 or a Snapdragon 662. But they decided to go with an entry-level Snapdragon 400 chipset on here. It is what it is. But that's the chipset for you guys and gals that like to know that sort of thing. Alright? And I do believe that covers all of the hardware. Now, in terms of the software, we are running Android 10 with Oxygen OS. I believe it's Oxygen OS 10.5.5, okay, on top of Android 10. And in terms of the software, I have to say OnePlus has done a phenomenal job with their software and their customizations and features. There is a variety of different things that you can do in terms of the software, in terms of icon packs and overall customization and gestures and things of that nature. There's a variety of things that you can do for this device out of the box and fully customize it the way you want it to be. Now, I've done a full dedicated software walkthrough, so for this full review, we're just going to talk about my overall daily experience with the software. Alright? Now, in terms of my daily experience with the software, I have to say it is good, but it suffers from the same issue that my Moto G Power suffers from. So there is a little bit of a RAM management issue. So with a bunch of applications open in the background, you will see the occasional app hiccup and the occasional app stutter or slowdown, and it does get a lot of app refreshes. So I would recommend, if you're going to use this device on the daily, you don't have open in the background any more than about 7 to 10 applications. That should keep it a very smooth and fluid overall experience. But anything more than that, you are going to notice the occasional app hiccup, the occasional app stutter, the occasional app slowdown, and you are going to get a bunch of app refreshes on this one as well. Okay, so OnePlus definitely needs to optimize their RAM management. But trust me, in this price category, they're not the only ones, okay? A lot of different manufacturers need to optimize their RAM management. So, you know, the software and overall performance on this one is just good. Not great, not top-notch, just good. That being said, I know some of you guys and gals are going to ask, what's the security patch that we're running on here? So let's go ahead and jump into the settings. And let's go down to security. Alright. And y'all can see in terms of the security patches here, we are rocking the February 5th, 2021 security patch on here and the March 1st Play Store security patch. And this is indeed on Android 10. And let me see if there's another update real quick. So no, your device is up to date. Y'all can see it right there. So no more updates to bring us in closer. Okay? Because right now I believe it's what? Mid-April? So they should have easily rolled out the April 5th security patch. So y'all can see we're a little bit behind in terms of security, but it is what it is. And another thing that I want to point out in terms of the software and security patches on here, OnePlus has went on record to state that they're only going to give this device 1 year of overall software updates and security patches. and it will not be receiving the next OS version in terms of Android. So this device will be on Android 10 for the majority of its life, but you should still be able to get your security patches. Okay? So kind of bummed out about that as well in terms of the software and security and updates and things. But it is what it is. They already went on record to state that they're only going to give this device 1 year of security updates and software support. Okay? So, in terms of the overall software and experience, I would have to say, yet again, it's just good. Okay? It's not top notch. It's not great. It's overall, it's a good experience. Now, summarizing the hardware and the software on the whole, I would have to say it's really good because they thought about everything that they could bring to the common user in a nice, affordable package, making it really, really good. Okay? So that goes over the hardware, that goes over the software. Now let's get into talking about the overall Wi-Fi and the Wi-Fi performance. So to do this, we're going to pull up a YouTube video, and this will also double as a speaker test as well. So let's go ahead and max out the volume. Okay, max that volume out. Okay, and let me go ahead and spin the microphone around so I can give y'all a nice speaker test. Y'all can see the microphone in the frame there, slightly off to your left hand side. Okay, so this is going to be a Wi-Fi performance test as well as a dedicated speaker test. So let's pull up some copyright free music on YouTube, and I do have it already pulled up, and I do have some things already pulled up so we can see the overall RAM management for this video as we go throughout the video. So y'all let me know what you think of the RAM management, but let's pull up this YouTube video. I already angled up the the microphone, and let's go ahead and push play. And I'm going to give y'all a sound sample for a little bit, and then we're going to go straight into the Wi-Fi performance test. Here we go. Enjoy, everyone. Here we go. Okay, let's check the Wi-Fi performance now. Scrub it back. Okay. Scrub it forward. Okay. So real quick Wi-Fi test, real quick speaker test as well. Let me know what y'all think. Okay, so in my opinion, let me change this mic around again. Okay, now in my opinion, in terms of the Wi-Fi, it is top notch. No issues with the Wi-Fi in terms of the overall Wi-Fi performance. Now, my opinions on the speaker and the overall speaker placement. Now, and I think I've said this before, I do appreciate the fact that they incorporated stereo speakers, but I don't like the fact that it's one bottom firing speaker and one front firing speaker. Okay? The bottom firing speaker is extremely easy to muffle in this setup. Okay? whereas the front-firing speaker can't really be muffled. That being said, talking about the overall speaker performance, it is really, really good, okay? As you guys and gals heard, I don't know if my mics did it justice, but these speakers get really, really loud, and they stay very crisp and clear throughout with little to no distortion at max volume. So the overall speaker performance on the OnePlus Nord N100 is top notch in my opinion. Even, dare I say, better than the dual speaker setup on the Moto G Power. Okay, when we do the versus / comparison video, y'all will hear the side-by-side speaker performance test, and y'all could judge for yourself. But in my opinion, I think it's better. I think it's better. So, I'm not a fan of the placement. I would have enjoyed dual front-firing speakers. Okay, but in terms of the overall performance, it is really good to top notch. Okay, it's not quite top notch because it's not a front-facing set of stereo speakers, so that downgrades it to just really good. Okay, but overall the Wi-Fi is top notch, and let's keep it moving. Up next now, let's talk about the available LTE bands and what you can expect in terms of overall LTE and performance. Now let's pull these bands up. This device right here is the GSM unlocked variant of the OnePlus Nord N100. So GSM LTE only unlocked variant. So this will not work on CDMA carriers like Verizon or Sprint, but it will work on GSM carriers like AT&T and T-Mobile and any of their MVNOs. And y'all can see in terms of the bands, it covers everything except for band 66 and band 71. Okay, so in terms of LTE coverage, you should be good to go. And as long as your carrier supports these bands, you should be good to go. But as I said, it's GSM only, so it will not work on CDMA carriers. I actually tested that in a separate video. I dropped my Verizon SIM in here. It didn't work. It picked up phone calls, no problems, but it did not pick up LTE data. All right. And another thing I want to mention is that your overall performance in terms of LTE and your data speeds is location and carrier based. Okay, so based on your carrier and their coverage and your current location, your speeds and data things of that nature may vary. Okay, now I've tested this on AT&T via FreeUp Mobile, and it works flawlessly. As I said in a prior video, I no longer have a T-Mobile SIM, so right now I'm just rocking with Straight Talk Verizon and FreeUp Mobile AT&T. Okay, one CDMA carrier and one GSM carrier. All right, but that goes over the LTE and the supported bands. Now let's keep it moving. Let's go. Up next now, I just want to briefly talk about my experiences with the overall Bluetooth performance. Okay, now Bluetooth wise, this device is packing Bluetooth 5.0, so a newer Bluetooth, not quite the latest and greatest, but newer nonetheless. And I gotta tell y'all, in terms of the Bluetooth performance, this device performed top notch. I didn't have any issues with the Bluetooth, and y'all can see I have my two favorite Bluetooth earbuds on the camera or in frame. These are what I use on a daily basis, and I had no issues with either of them. Okay, so Bluetooth performance is top notch. Now, briefly moving on and talking about the GPS performance. Again here, it's more of the same. So turn-by-turn navigation, geocaching, geotagging on this device was top notch. So again, no issues with the overall GPS, no issues whatsoever. So if you're very GPS dependent like myself, you shouldn't have any issues with this device. So Bluetooth, top-notch performance, GPS, top-notch performance. Now let's move on to another important category. Let's talk about the overall call quality and speaker call quality for phone calls. Let's do this. Let's go. Now, talking about the overall call quality and speaker call quality for phone calls, talking about the receiver quality first, taking phone calls through the onboard receiver were pretty much flawless. Whether I was using the basic dialer application or phone dialer application, or I was using Telegram, WhatsApp, or Facebook Messenger, didn't have any issues taking receiver phone calls on this device. Callers on my end came out very loud, crisp, and clear. No issues whatsoever. And those same rules apply to the overall speaker phone calls. Very crisp, very clear, little to no distortion at max volume. No issues with the overall speaker phone calls or the overall receiver phone calls on this device. Okay? So, yet again, in this category, OnePlus has done a top-notch job. Top-notch indeed. Okay, let's keep it moving now. Gonna try and get through this quick, fast, and in a hurry. Let's move on now, and I want to give you guys and gals my overall opinions on my camera experience with this device. Now, once again, let me reiterate the hardware one more time. So we have a front-facing 8-megapixel camera up here. It maxes out at 1080p, 30 FPS, and we have a triple camera setup on the rear, 13, 2, and 2. All right, again, 1080p, 30 FPS, and I've done a separate dedicated camera review, including a full software walkthrough and the photo and video samples. I'll link that up down below. Feel free to check that out and let me know your opinions in that video and in the comments of this video as well. Let me know what y'all think of the overall camera performance for photos and video on the OnePlus Nord N100. That being said, when I test out the cameras, I'm testing out the cameras and judging them from 3 distinctive categories, okay? Point and shoot photo performance, point and shoot video performance, and overall audio capture capabilities, okay? And for all 3 of these categories, I would have to say the OnePlus Nord N100 did a good job. Now, one thing you want to be mindful of with the N100 is you need good to really good lighting to have an overall enjoyable experience, and you're going to need a steady hand, because although they advertise this device as having EIS, based on my testing, y'all, I'm not seeing any stabilization whatsoever. Okay, so although it's advertised as having EIS, I would say it doesn't have anything. Okay, so you are going to need a steady hand, and you're going to need good to really good lighting to have an overall enjoyable experience. But based on all 3 of these categories, the overall photo performance, the overall video performance, and the overall audio capture capabilities, again, I would have to say this device is good. It's good. Okay, so not quite the best, not quite top notch, but good. It gets the job done as long as you're mindful. And one thing that I really want to point out here is that the focusing speeds of the OnePlus cameras and their software is really, really good. In terms of focusing and shutter capture capabilities, it's rivaling the Pixel in my experience. Just in terms of focusing speeds, y'all. Okay? Not in terms of photo quality. Definitely not in terms of video quality, but the focusing speeds for the camera and the software are very fluid and fast. More than beating out the Moto G Power in my opinion. Okay, so the overall camera experience for me was good. Good indeed. Alright, now let's keep it moving. Let's keep going now. Up next now, talking about the overall gaming experience on this device. Again, it was good. I didn't really have any issues gaming on this device. Now, the games that I tested were very, very graphic intensive. And, you know, I didn't really adjust any settings. And after about 30 to 45 minutes of extended gameplay, I did notice a performance dip. But if you want a smooth and fluid experience, I suggest you go in there and adjust some settings so you have a smooth experience throughout your gameplay session. But to me, I tested these on the default settings, and it was overall a good gaming experience. Okay, so gaming on here is good as well. So the camera's good as long as you have good to really good lighting and a steady hand. The gaming experience, good. Okay, if you want a smoother experience, you may want to adjust some settings in the particular game that you're playing. Okay, but good on both of those categories. Now, let's get into one of my favorite overall categories to talk about. Let's talk about the overall battery life on this one and the overall charge times on this one as well. Now, once again, when we talk about battery life, it's very, very subjective because everybody's usage style is different. But when I talk about my battery life and show y'all my stats, I'm doing it from an extremely heavy user standpoint. So your guys and gals results may vary. But that being said, some key specifications that you want to keep in mind when you're considering overall battery life is your display, its resolution, okay, and your overall battery size and the charging speeds of your charging brick. So once again, in terms of the display, we got a 720p plus display, 90 hertz display. And I don't think I mentioned the display size. My bad, y'all. I'm moving super quick today. So this is a 6.52-inch IPS LCD Gorilla Glass 3 720p plus display at 90 hertz. Okay? So the key specification you wanted to hear there was 720p. The 720p displays don't draw as much power in regular day-to-day usage. And then along with that, we have a 4890 milliamp hour battery on board here. Pretty decent sized battery. Nowadays, in terms of the battery, pretty much anything over 4700 milliamp hours should give you really good battery life. But again, your usage may vary, okay, and your results may vary. Now, talking about the overall battery life, after running down those key specifications, the battery life on here is phenomenal, okay? With my style of regular heavy usage, I'm easily getting through a day, if not a day and a half, and I'm averaging about 10 to 15 hours of on-screen time. So the battery life on here is phenomenal. Okay, and y'all check out the screenshots if y'all want to know exactly what I got and y'all want to know the charge times exactly. I throw them up on the screen. But in terms of the battery life, it is phenomenal on this device. Okay, good stuff indeed. Now, talking about the overall charge times, yet again, it is phenomenal as well. Okay, in my particular testing, which was done always to 100%, and it was tested 5% to 100, 10% to 100, 15% to 100, and 20% to 100. This device did a great job for the charging that it offers. Now, once again, we do have USB Type-C on here, and it does support 18-watt fast charging. So we don't have the OnePlus fast charging on here. I don't know what they call it. Warp charge, dash charge. I don't know what they call it. But we do have basic 18-watt fast charging on here. And once you turn off all the limiters, it charges extremely quickly. Okay? So on average, this device takes, based on my testing, to reach 100 about 2 to just over 2.5 hours to reach a full charge. Okay, keep in mind your guys and gals results may vary depending on the percentage that you put the device on the charger at and whether you charge it to full. So if you don't charge it to full, it will charge up a little bit faster. Okay, but based on my testing, the charging speeds on here are really, really good. Again, easily beating out the Moto G Power that I have. The Moto G Power charges up in about 2.5 to 3.5 hours to full. This one charges up in about 2 to 2.5 hours, just over 2.5 hours to get to full in some cases. Again, check out the screenshots that will be up on the screen up in the video in post if you would like to know more. But the overall battery life on this device is phenomenal. The overall charge times on this device are top notch. So good stuff here when we talk about the overall battery life and the overall charge times. Now, moving on, let's get into the final part of this video. Let's talk about the overall pricing and the overall availability. And I'll be sure to give you guys and gals a screenshot of the overall battery health as well. As a matter of fact, let's just do it right here. That way I save myself some work in terms of editing. So I've been using this device for a little bit over 3 weeks. And y'all can see in terms of the battery health, we're at 97%. And we do indeed have a 4890 milliamp hour battery. Okay. Now, these charge cycles are not exactly accurate because I did mess up a little bit on the battery calibration and had attempted to fix it, but it didn't work out. So I actually had a bunch more charge cycles on the device than what y'all see in the video, but I just wanted to show y'all that battery health. All right, now, moving on, talking about the final part of this video, talking about the overall pricing, getting into my final thoughts, and making an overall recommendation or two. All right? Now, talking about the pricing for everything y'all see in this video. So the lens protector tempered glass, okay? The tempered glass screen protector, the case, and the device, okay? I was able to pick up all of this. The device, after taxes, was, I believe it was $192 and change. Let me pull it up. I have my calculator pulled up to the side here. All right. So yes, I picked this up from Amazon. I'll show y'all the screenshot. But before taxes, it was $179.99. Okay, so $180 just to make it easy. After taxes, it came up to $192.58. So $192.59, my mistake. And then the tempered glass screen protector for the cameras and the screen and the case, which is from PULEN, came up to $8.99, bringing this grand total for everything y'all see in the video up to $201.58. Okay, so that's the grand total for the device and its accessories. Now, as of the recording of this video, let's pull it up real quick. Let's go to Amazon real quick. And yes, indeedy, you can pick this device up ranging in price from the cheapest I see here is $145. So $144.95. So $145 just to make it easy. And that's in used or brand new condition. Or you can pick it up brand new right now today. And as of the recording of this video, it is April 12th. Okay, so right now today, you can pick it up brand new for $169.99 from Amazon. So again, those prices range from $145 to $170. Okay, $169.99, $170, just to make it easy. And again, that does not include the taxes or the shipping and handling. And that does not include the case and or accessories or a micro SD card as well. All right, so if you want to do the quick math here, if you're picking it up brand new today, the case and tempered glass screen protector and lens protector is $8.99 or $9. The device, you can factor the tax for yourself. Now, taxes are different based on your location. And then we have the micro SD card. You can get a pretty decent micro SD card. I recommend the Samsung ones for about $20. I have a 128 gigabyte card in here. Paid about $20 for that. So y'all do the math on that for yourself. A little bit over $200, $215, $210 for everything that y'all could potentially get in this video. And at that price, can I recommend that y'all pick up this device? I would have to say yes. Okay? As long as you're mindful of the negatives that I pointed out through this video, and you check out a few of the videos that I've done on this device, and specifically the software walkthrough, so you know where everything is, and you can set the device up to your liking, and the common OnePlus Nord N100 issues and how to fix them video that I did, you should have an overall enjoyable experience with this device. And for that price, can I recommend that y'all pick it up? I would have to say yes. Okay? Yes, indeed. All right. So that pretty much does it for this full review here today. As always, I hope you guys and gals enjoyed the video. I hope you guys and gals found it helpful. If you did enjoy the video and or you found it helpful, please help your boy out by giving the video a thumbs up. That really does help me out. You don't know how much. Also, feel free to hit that subscribe button down below if you would like to see more content like this. And make sure you click off that notification bell icon right next to it so you guys and gals get notified when I publish new videos. Also, feel free to follow me across all these social media platforms. This way you never miss a notification as to when new content is live on the channel. And we do drop new videos every week. So every Sunday, you guys and gals will get a new video dropping. Okay? So please feel free to hit that subscribe button. Please feel free to hit that notification bell. And as always, if this video piqued your interest, all the links to where y'all can pick up this device at a really great price, including all the recommended accessories, so tempered glass, case, micro SD card, so on and so forth. All of that good stuff will be linked up down below in the video description. And those are affiliated links. So I do get a small percentage of kickback that I do put back into the channel to keep producing content for you guys and gals. Got to keep the content flowing. And that's at no additional cost to you guys and gals. So down below in the video description will truly be like a one-stop shop for you guys and gals. And you should be good to go. Alright, this whole video here today was recorded with the primary rear-facing camera on the Samsung Galaxy S7 Active 12 megapixel primary camera in 720p at 30 FPS. And recording all the audio here today, we are using the OG himself, the Movo MA2010 omnidirectional microphone. So please let me know what you think of the overall video quality as well as what you think of the overall audio quality down below. All your feedback, as always, is greatly appreciated. And please, let's get into a nice, respectful conversation about how you guys and gals feel about this device down below in the comments as well. And as always, keep it respectful, please. All right? Okay. I hope everyone is having a great day. Hope you guys and gals are staying safe out there. And I will catch everyone in the next one. Have a good one, everybody. We are out of here. Peace. All right, you know, OnePlus did a really good job with this one, man. I'm not mad at this. We out of here, everybody. Have a good one. Peace.